Welcome to the Basket Buds edition of the Athletic NBA Show podcast here on the Athletic Podcast Network. I'm your host, Zach Harper. We got Josh Hustis, we got Jay King, we got Dave DeFore producing, and we have a show for you. But first, do you want to watch us talk? Go to YouTube, Athletic NBA Show. Do you want to be nice about us talking? Rate us, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Also, make sure you are subscribed to The Athletic and make sure you're subscribed to The Bounce, our free newsletter, theathletic.com/thebounce. If you don't subscribe on YouTube, this is not a threat. It's just you never know what's going to happen. Your car might break down. Just saying that your car might break down if you don't subscribe to us on YouTube. So there's only one way to foolproof that is go subscribe. Guys, we have some disheartening news regarding Joel Embiid. In what is surprisingly like the worst way I think you can describe a knee injury, he has a displaced flap of his meniscus. Just call it a tear. Why aren't we calling this a tear? Like, that sounds like a tear to me.
Tear is a scary word.
Displaced flap is way scarier.
The whole spread of information during this has been strange.
It's been super
The wording
weird.
of everything has been different.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why they're not just being more forthcoming about this.
Yeah, it's almost like one guy's trying to control the whole news. I think for this, obviously Embiid's going to be gone for a while. He's opting for a procedure. They are not ruling out that he's done for the season, but unless he comes back and he's just like completely pain-free, moving like he hasn't moved before, Jay, why bring Embiid back this season?
Yeah. To me, especially, they're not like the title favorite regardless, right? Like that team to me is still another piece away. I think they're actually fortunate in some ways that it happened before the trade deadline, because they were a candidate to go out and get some help and try to upgrade the roster around Embiid and make a big move to try to position themselves to be in a better chance to compete for a title. And now I think they'll maybe take a different view, preserve some of that cap space that they're going to have coming up. And to me, whether he comes back or not, he's probably going to be compromised. And this team with a compromised Joel Embiid, even if he's on the court, is just not going to be good enough. They rely on him for so much. And I mean,
like
with the way the standings are, while he's out, they could slide a while. Their defense has been disgusting since he's been out.
They have a little bit of a cushion between where they are and like falling to 6th and then 7th if they were to fall out of the play-in tournament. But I mean, we got a lot of season left without Joel Embiid going to be in the mix. Josh, if Embiid comes back and we're unsure of his status, like obviously you're not taking the Sixers against Boston. Would you take them against Milwaukee?
I don't think so. I think, listen, like the Sixers, for better or for worse, have been extremely cautious when it comes to Embiid.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see why that they would change anything going forward, especially with the slide that they might take without him. So I like, even if he is quote unquote healthy, I don't think they bring him back regardless. They've been so cautious with him with everything, right? I
think I would take 5, like if not pre-injury, but with this injury and him coming back, like even like let's say he came back the week before the season ended for some reason, right? Like and they were going to be in the top 6 or they managed to avoid the plan. Like I wouldn't pick them against Boston. I wouldn't pick them against Milwaukee. I wouldn't pick them against the Knicks.
I know you wouldn't pick him against the Heat.
Cavs. No, but I mean, I wouldn't pick him against the Heat anyway. They always lose the Heat. Like they always lose in the second round. But like, there's probably at least 5 teams I'm taking over this Sixers team. Plus, like, maybe Embiid can be healthy.
Right. I just don't see it. I don't see the need to rush him back when, to be completely honest, like going into this offseason, like Embiid is a huge draw for someone to come play in Philly. He is a massive draw for some star somewhere who's looking for a change to want to come play with Embiid, play with
and Maxey.
The best player
a stud
and Maxey, play with Maxey, exactly. Like that is a team that is enticing. They're a team that is one piece away from being a serious problem for people in the playoffs.
They have a ton of cap space this summer. ton of cap
Exactly.
space.
And they have some decent pieces that they
Mhm.
can move in order to make a play at becoming a contender. So I just think they sit on it, wait, see what happens in the offseason.
And I think the other piece of this too is that he does have now a long injury history. This is his second injury to this meniscus, I believe. And so he's had knee issues before. He's obviously a huge guy, puts a ton of pounding on his knees when he runs. And you just need to be cautious. I would be super cautious with Joel Embiid. That, as Brett Brown used to call him, that's the crown jewel. Like this guy was having an unbelievable season. He was like Kobe Bryant with Kevin Durant's accuracy from the mid range. It was insane. Like the footwork that he has, the touch that he's developed on that jump shot. Like he became just impossible in that mid range area to stop.
Yeah, it's like 35, 11, and like almost 6 assists on like 55% shooting.
What I see, he's on pace to be the first person since Wilt to average 1 point per minute played.
Yeah.
And he never.
Yeah, he has more points than minutes.
Absurd.
He has more points than minutes as of right now. Yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy.
All right, let's move on to another East team. I wrote about this in the newsletter this morning. I'm so sick of this Doc Rivers act. I just I am so sick of it. It's first like I wouldn't wish this on anybody, right? It's quickly becoming my favorite meme.
He just took the job.
I take the job. The team's number 2 in the East. They have Giannis and Damian Lillard. I wouldn't wish this on anybody. This is so hard. This is so dastardly of me to do. And it's like, all right, so because of just what the system is, right? Like Mazzulla was the all-star coach last year because the Celtics were number 1 in the East at the time, and they're number 1 again this year, and he can't be the coach. So it's like, all right, who's the number 2? Well, it's the Milwaukee Bucks. Well, their coach got fired, so yes, Doc Rivers is the head coach. At this time, he would get the all-star bid for being the coach of the East, and he did, right? Like they're like, hey, you're second, like you get it. And so
it was great that his first win qualified him for that.
His first win qualified him for that. By the way, they're 1-3. They just blew a 19-point lead to get blown out by the Jazz last night. But then it's like he tells, like, who was it? Like Mark Stein or somebody. He's like, I'm not going, like, this isn't right. I'm going to give my all-star game ring, which I'll be honest, I'm a pretty big basketball nerd. I had no idea they got rings for this.
I had no
Do they actually get rings? Or
I don't know. Like, I guess it's like a class ring, not like a championship ring, but like he's going to give his ring and the coaching bonus to Adrian Griffin. And not only that, guys, but he's such a magnanimous man that he is going to
what a word. Hold on, Jay. Take out your phone.
I have a great vocabulary.
Spell patois.
I have an extensive vocabulary.
Josh, did you ever see the patois clip of Jay?
No, he was speaking patois.
I said the word patois.
You said the word patois.
And he had no. Dave, please try to find that clip. I know that's asking a lot right now, but like, please try to find. It was sometime last season, and we tried to get Jay to spell patois.
Next time he gets stuck in Toronto again, Jay.
So
venture out.
The problem with patois is that there's a different version of patois that means something entirely different.
Not if you spell it right.
Yeah.
But anyway, as Jay looks up patois.
So the definition that I found when I searched for it was a stupid Frenchman who is a Boy Scout and has sex with a moose.
Hold on. You
with an R. With an R. Oh, yeah.
You used Urban Dictionary
as mid-show.
As anyone does. Yeah, it was mid-show. Like all this got captured on film. And so, all right. So not only that magnanimous act, but he is not going to coach the All-Star game, guys. He's willing to go on vacation. And he's not going to let Dave Yeager and the guys that he brought in be there either. This is all for Adrian Griffin's coaching staff. I'm sorry, man. I'm not buying it anymore. Well, I haven't bought it for a while. This whole act of him trying to win us over, just go coach. Just go teach them how to play some defense. Quit trying to be the good guy. I don't think he's a bad guy. But you're not the good guy in the situation. Yeah,
he's been
you're
on
not
Adrian
the good guy.
Griffin's side the whole time, though. He was such a good guy. He was consulting Adrian Griffin and not at all angling for his job.
No, not at all angling for his job. Such a good guy. He wasn't angling for the job. He coached him into being fired, or he consulted him into being fired, and then took the job from him. That's insane. Like, it's, again, I genuinely don't think Doc is a bad guy here. Like, circumstances are the circumstances, and who is he to turn down the chance to coach a championship team? But quit acting like this is a struggle for you and this is hard, and oh my God, woe is me. I've got to take a vacation now instead of coaching the All-Star game. Like, this is, just go coach. I cannot stand this like attempt. And Josh, I know you've seen and dealt with phony coaches before. Like, do players buy this act? Is this just for him trying to win over the public perception and the media? Because he usually plays the media extremely well. Everyone buys that. Everyone laps it up.
Well, I don't think it's for the players, because there's an interview where Dame was talking about when he found out Doc was going to be coach of the All-Star game. He said he had no clue Doc was even in contention for it. So it's not something being spoken
right
around the players or for the players in any way. It's clear the players didn't like Griffin anyways when they're dancing pregame right after he's
but Josh,
fired.
they always do that. They always do that dance. So that's just a
For sure,
coincidence
right,
that they
like
did it
that's-
again.
Yeah. So I don't think it's for the players' benefit. It is this weird thing where who's he trying to win over? Because to me, when you see something like that, it's a guy with a guilty conscience who knows that maybe he did something kind of shady, kind of icky, and now he's trying to feel a little bit better about it, trying to convince everybody that he's not such a bad guy.
He also keeps taking shots at Adrian Griffin, or at least the way Adrian Griffin coached the team. He said after their last game that the guys aren't in shape because they haven't played defense, and now they're finally being coached to play hard on defense.
Well,
and it's going to take a while to get back in shape.
I'm sure the guy who famously does not have his team practice because he, like, I don't know, maybe goes and plays golf. I'm sure that'll change. That'll change things. He'll lock down and get them in shape.
He took over at a tough time.
I wouldn't
wish it on anybody.
Yeah,
he hopped into a 5-game road swing that started in Denver, has included Dallas,
against some dangerous teams.
Second leg of a back-to-back against Utah, which is a really hard game.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have Brooke Lopez for either of the back-to-backs. They didn't have Chris Middleton in the second leg of the back-to-back. So this has been a tough stretch for them.
For sure.
The one thing that really is going to be a huge issue for them, I just don't know if they have the defensive personnel. I don't think it has anything to do with coaching. I don't think it has anything to do with what Adrian Griffin was doing, what Doc Rivers can do. That fourth quarter against Utah it started off with just blow by after blow.
Oh, so bad.
It was so bad. Malik Beasley got blown by. Damian Lillard got blown by.
Yeah.
Bobby Portis got blown by. And
Colin Sexton was like going at them.
It was
blow-bys aren't coaching.
It was layups.
Yeah. That's not coaching.
Yeah, blow-bys is not coaching. That's third grade learning how to do a closeout and keep a guy in front of you stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's not something that's coach. You know what I mean? You don't show up in training camp and they teach you how to close out.
You don't need that. Yeah, like, oh, new coach, let's see how he wants us to close out. Like,
maybe we talk about help rotations. Maybe we talk about sinks, things like that.
These weren't even closeouts.
Just
even go right at him and just beat him.
Here's the thing: is like we would talk about help side, and help side is all great, but if your on-ball defender just gets flat out blown by, help defense isn't going to cover anything.
Yeah.
Like, you got to put up a fight. There has to be some sort of stand.
Remember, like, what was this, 2 years ago, where Jason Kidd asked Luka just defend 2 seconds more each possession, right? Like, just give us 2 more seconds of possession to start us out, and we can like figure it out. That's essentially what it is, though, Josh. Right? Like, it's like, give me a couple more seconds. Like, we're trying to grind this down. Yeah.
You can get beat. Don't get blown by. Because a blow by is so hard to recover from, because then it draws in help, which leads to kickouts, which leads to a second blow by, which leads to another kick out.
The ball starts moving. Like, I would imagine
just becomes a nightmare.
As the help defender on an NBA level, you're not expecting a blow by, right? Like, you could see a guy start setting up a move.
Blow bys at this point, though, which is actually a problem, because there was one time they didn't even get blown by, and Giannis overhelped because he thought they were going to get blown by, and it was out.
It's an IQ thing, and it's just a flat out ability thing. Do you have the lateral quickness? Do you have the length? All those things, right?
I know he's shooting the ball extremely well from deep. I'm not really looking for Malik Beasley in the 3-point contest. Like Shams put out, like, I think, who are the names so far? It's like Tyrese Halliburton, obviously, because they're in Indianapolis, and he's good. Dame, Beasley, Jalen Brunson, and I can't remember the other guy.
Who was the other one?
Is confirmed so far. And then obviously we have the Sabrina versus Steph shootout, which I think it's just
Lowry's in it.
Oh, Lowry, yeah. He's in it. And again, he's shooting the hell out of the ball. I'm assuming we're getting Grayson Allen because he's shooting like 50% from deep. But Malik Beasley, like, I'm good. I don't need all stars in this 3-point contest, but
you want someone who's not Malik Beasley.
Yeah, like I need a bigger name than Malik Beasley. or a younger player like
Grayson Allen.
Like, give me, but he's shooting 50%. He's shooting 50%.
You should be excited about that, Jay.
I think they should have
give me Isaiah Joe.
It should be like Kyle Korver. The 3-point shootout should be all
with the legends.
I want them all in. I want like a few
bring back
guys,
Novak,
a few old school guys.
Don't hate this
Steve
idea.
Novak.
I don't hate this idea. Like, half the field is young. It's like when they did guards versus bigs for the skills competition. They should have
like Ray Allen is out there.
Veterans. Yeah.
Ray Allen is out there slinging it
Kenny
away.
Smith can still shoot it. Let Kenny be up there. He just beat that fraud of a best shooter in the world from YouTube or whatever that was.
Let's get Lethal Shooter in the 3-point contest.
Oh yeah, we need him promoted more.
Did I just see him working out Giancarlo Esposito, the actor from Breaking Bad?
Also, I think Jennifer Hudson.
What?
Yeah, he just put. I mean, look, that. You know what? This is an off-show conversation.
All right.
But right after the show's done, we'll get to it. Do you like anything you've seen from the Bucks so far before we move on that we can even like take moving forward? Because as you met, as Jay, tried to make excuses for Doc, they have had a tough schedule so far to start out this Doc era. Jay, do you see like actual changes that can be made without personnel changing?
Yeah, I mean, they could definitely do a better job of structuring their defense, and that's why I think everyone was so upset. Like the players, that's why they weren't on board with Adrian Griffin, because they went from Mike Budenholzer, who knows how to build a defense, to give up the types of shots that he wanted to give up, that his team wanted to give up, and then you get to Adrian Griffin, and it didn't seem like they had a plan night to night on how they were going to defend. So that's where you need to make a difference if you're Doc Rivers. I think the offense will somewhat take care of itself.
I don't know if Josh capes for Daignault more, or if Jay mentions how much Mike Budenholzer can structure something.
This is such an insane thing to talk about, because
but that's again, the difference. That was
my first year. You brought it up. My first episode talked about how Mark was a great, because you asked me.
We sure did. We sure did. And you gave it.
And then when we talked about coach of the year,
we've talked about you gave a great answer.
Win coach of the year, and every single person on this podcast agreed that Mark Daignault was going to win coach of the year.
He's it right now. Absolutely.
But
no question.
All right.
But you just open door policy. I could talk to him whenever I wanted.
Okay. I just wanted to talk about something about the Bucks before we move on. Yes, defense needs work. They need to adjust their strategy. They face a huge issue going into All-Star break. He already talked about them being out of shape because they haven't been playing defense, and they need to revamp all these things just as they head into a week-long break.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done.
What? No, you're making a great point. Go.
I just can't take you seriously. I don't know. I just think that all this work that they're doing, they're 1-3 since I hired him.
Mm-hmm.
They go into this. They haven't even gotten their feet under them just everybody disappear to different parts of the world for a week.
Yeah, because everyone goes on vacation, now, right?
Again. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like when do they get back into action? Like Tuesday, they come back together. Maybe Monday.
Yeah, I
Some of the guys
maybe
Monday?
Monday, most likely Tuesday, but I mean, then what? How many days till their first game?
Yeah, they play Thursday. Like, so you might have a
So
day
what are
and a
you gonna
half.
do? Exactly, not enough time. You're not gonna again for a guy who famously doesn't
Yeah, Doc's gonna
have his teams
FaceTime in from a golf
practice.
course. Like, who knows?
Not gonna happen. So where does the change happen? I don't know.
Yeah, I genuinely think their strategy, and it may end up working because the talent's so great. But it sounds dumb because obviously highest score wins. But like, just go outscore the other team. Like if they get Dame to kind of get back to the rhythm and the offensive player where you expect him to be, then
Mhm.
then that offense, it's already second in the league. It might become so overwhelming, especially at end of games where they've been really good, that it ends up working out for them.
They just need a decent defense. That like not great. You just gotta be at least okay. You
Just
cannot
okay.
be terrible.
Just okay. Yeah.
At
just
least
be okay.
Yeah.
Giannis will make some plays here, a couple of blocks at the rim, block an alley-oop, whatever. But yeah, it's gotta be not what it is right now.
20th in defense since Doc took over.
They were 20th before. That's
They're right, just about the same spot. Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't moved. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right. We've got the trade deadline coming up on Thursday. But before that, Josh, is there something you wanted to bring up?
Nope. About the trade deadline?
No. All right. Now we got to edit this. I thought you said I'll set you up for this
Oh
clip.
no. Oh man. Yeah, we'll set up the Jay and his idiot Frenchman clip here for everybody
To
who
steal
listens.
some patois from the internet. The vibes are terrible in Dallas.
What is patois?
Look it up.
I like to put the podcast on a screeching halt to get a glossary.
You don't have a
Patois?
thesaurus or a dictionary?
How do you even spell patois?
Yes, I already knew you didn't know that one.
P-A-T what?
This show is
I
going off
did-
the rails.
So I thought it was
I like that Dave was
patois.
like, "We'll keep it tight today, man." Like 30 minutes, and now like already Jay's like, "What's patois?"
I thought it was patois, P-A-T-O-I-R, and I swear to God, I Googled it, and it pulls up Urban Dictionary, a stupid Frenchman who is a Boy Scout and has sex with a moose.
What?
So how do you spell patois?
Patois. Dave, leave all of this. in.
O-I-S, okay.
Yeah. Now, what's the
All
what's
right.
the definition that comes up?
The dialect of the common people of a region differing in various respects from the standard language of the rest of the country. Patois.
So, like I said, the vibes are terrible.
I don't know what's worse, there or here on the podcast.
Yeah, it's
I
a
don't
great
know.
question. It's a great question.
You know what's weird? I'm wearing the same sweatshirt. Is that clip? I realized that. Exact same. Yeah. How about that? Haven't changed my clothes since. Just put a hat on.
You thought there was an R in it? Is that what?
Patois. He thought it was patois.
Can you help me? Yeah, I'm trying to figure out.
Why would there be an
Where
S?
they
I
are.
don't hear the S either.
How would there be an R?
I don't know, man.
All right. Trade deadline is here on Thursday at what is it? Noon Pacific time, 3 Eastern, something like that. A lot of rumors are going to be flying around. We do have some confusion. I don't know how this Embiid injury is going to affect the Sixers and what they might have done at the deadline. Zach LaVine got one trade rumor discussion point that maybe he would get traded to the Pistons and immediately opted for season-ending foot surgery. I mean, almost immediately as that like tweet flew out there. It was all right. Maybe I'll just end my season.
We good.
So he's off the market. Josh, as someone who has been through trade deadline week before in the NBA, what was it like being on the Thunder, who are famously a very secretive organization? Not a lot of leaks to the media. What was it? What's that like for a player, and what was that like for a player on the Thunder?
It's weird. Every year around this time, you start to get nervous, a little anxious, just wondering what's coming. Because you hear it every year. Every single year there's a story about a guy waking up from a nap to find out he got traded, or getting on Twitter, sorry, X, to find out he got traded. Whatever it is, right? You find out in these you find out in these weird ways, and it's totally out of your hands. And you see all the rumors, you hear your name get thrown in different conversations, hear all these things, and they may happen, may not happen. I remember sitting at a restaurant with my wife, some of my teammates, including Doug McDermott, and we were sitting there watching TV, and on the TV came in talking about how the Knicks were looking to move Carmelo and the Thunder were a potential option. Wow. And Doug turned to me. I still remember Doug turned to me and he goes, "It's been nice knowing you. I'm going to get traded."
Wow.
And the next day, it happened. The next day. And then
Jeez.
I remember, and this wasn't trade deadline, but it was during Summer League. I was at Summer League, and me and Domantas Sabonis were hanging out, and we had just gotten dinner, whatever. We go back to our rooms, start hearing rumors that the Thunder are looking to try to get Paul George. And, you know, hour later, whatever it was, Domas texts me. He goes, "Hey, I just got traded to the Pacers for Paul George. I just found out."
You're like the good luck Chuck of getting somebody traded. Like someone has dinner with you.
As soon as they're gone.
Yeah,
exactly. So it's just this. It's weird, man. It's like all of a sudden you're one place, and then the next minute everything's uprooted, and you're somewhere else, and your situation could totally change. You can go from not playing to being a starter, from playing to, you know, being traded 2 or 3 more times, or getting cut, whatever it is. Like it's a weird deal.
We've had like obviously plenty of stories about front office saying like, "Hey, we're not trading you," and then they trade the guy like 2 days later, right? Like that.
For sure.
That happens. Is that something where you're just communicating with your agent throughout the week or whatever time frame it is, or is there any communication with coaches in front office, or are they just kind of like, it's a business, we don't know?
You talk to your agent, you're like, "Yeah, have you heard anything?" But here's the thing: Thunder, again, extremely secretive. Like they're not going to tell your agent. That's just not how it works. I will say, to Sam's credit, he was always pretty, upfront if you asked him directly. You know what I mean? But it's not something where he was gonna be like, "Yes, we're trading you," or "No, we're not trading you." It was more of like, "Guess you'll have to find out."
Anybody in the organization ever like challenge Sam Presti to like a drumline situation?
A drumline situation?
Because he's a drummer. He's like a legitimate drummer.
Even I didn't know that, actually.
Really? He has a CD.
No.
Sam Presti
like
has
a jazz drumming CD or
CD?
something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did
he's
not
like
know that.
an accomplished drummer.
I did not know that. I
Yeah.
could kind of see it. Like I could see him being a drummer for Weezer.
Yeah. For sure. For sure.
You can't tell me that doesn't fit.
No, that's dead on. That's 100% dead on.
I don't know who that is.
Weezer?
What?
You don't know? You're old enough to know Weezer.
I have no.
You're older than
clue who that
Josh,
is.
aren't you? Like, how do you not know Weezer?
What songs do they have? Or
Buddy
is it a
Holly,
day?
Buddy
Is it a-
Holly, Island in the Sun, Beverly Hills. Really?
Beverly Hills. I mean, no, we don't have the rights.
Okay,
to
yeah,
sing
I
it,
know
but
that
yeah.
song.
On an
I don't know how I
island in
knew
the
it from that voice.
Come on, man.
Oh man, I sing like an angel. What are you talking about? Is that
All he listens to is New Kids on the Block, remember?
Oh, that's right. He listens to his own music. Josh, what is it like super tense, or maybe it depends on the team? That's like
It's
going
not
through
it's not
rumors?
really. I wouldn't say it's tense. No, it's more of younger guys, sure. You spend a little bit more time, you start to just kind of go with the flow. It happens. To be honest, some guys look forward to it. There's always the guys that are hoping, hey, maybe this is going to shake something loose, whether it's I'm going to stay on the team and we're going to become a better team, or I'm going to end up somewhere I might get a better role. You don't talk about it either. I don't know if it's kind of like you don't talk to a pitcher if they're trying to pitch a perfect game. You know what I mean? You don't want to jinx it. You don't want to talk about it, anything like that. But
And they learn don't
guys
go,
aren't
to,
tense.
don't go to dinner with Josh.
Don't have dinner with me, or you will be gone the next day. I was a Sam Presti plant. He just was like, hey, take this guy to dinner, ease his mind a little bit.
Jay, does it feel like this is going to be a quiet trade deadline? And
Yep.
we already had James Harden moved early in the season. We've had OG to the Knicks. We've had Pascal to the Pacers. Like Zach LaVine done for the season. Steven Adams just got traded for next season. So maybe some moves like that could happen. But like who are the biggest names of it? Like DeJounte Murray, Bruce Brown, Tyus Jones. Like there's not a lot out there. Malcolm, yeah, but even then it sounds like Malcolm's not that interested, and like he's good where he is.
Oh, I don't think it's up to him.
No, but also like Joe Cronin famously will just bend to the will of his players, and he did it with Dame.
Joe gonna send Malcolm out to eat with Josh.
Yeah. But yeah, Jay, it feels like this is super quiet right now.
Yeah, and there's no like huge name right now on the market. There's no super headline. When DeJounte Murray is a guy, everyone's like, "Oh, is DeJounte gonna get moved?" It's like I'm underwhelmed.
Yeah,
I'm underwhelmed.
But they're not going to move either because the asking prices for some of them are astronomical.
Yeah.
Like you look at Mikal Bridges, what did the rumors they turned down 5 first-round picks for him?
5, or I saw actually, I don't know if this is out there. Let's just say I heard, and I will not confirm or deny, and maybe this is just a bad rumor, but there was talk that maybe the Rockets offered Jalen Green and the picks back to Brooklyn, their own picks back to them for Mikal Bridges. Like there's been some wild rumors about Mikal Bridges.
That would be a fun one. I would love to see Bridges.
They could have an actual defender out there. Yeah, that'd be good.
Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet and Mikal Bridges.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be into it.
Yeah, and next season when you add Steven Adams to the mix,
he
won't watch it.
I do love that the Rockets are just kind of lurking, trying to make a big move. That Ime Udoka is just kind of bullying that franchise into trying to become a real team overnight. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I look. I'm all the asset hoarding and everything. Like I get it initially, but there's a certain point where like you just gotta swing. You just gotta make moves. Josh, if DeJounte Murray is the biggest name moved at the deadline, that's not exciting, right? And I'm a massive Murray fan. I'm not like Jay. Like I don't crap all over DeJounte Murray. Like I think he's good.
Yeah. I think this is going to be one of those ones where the offseason is much more exciting than the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Like I don't see, like, I mean, when you look at some big names that people have thrown into rumors, you look at, Klay Thompson, especially Golden State, right? You look at Klay, you look at Draymond, Andrew Wiggins, then you look at LA with D'Angelo Russell. Like, I don't see those guys being moved yet because I don't think that they are producing in a way that makes them worth the contract right now.
Right.
For teams.
Right.
Yeah, so I think I think DeJounte, if he's moved, which I don't know if he will be, would be the biggest name that we see change hands. Unless Sam Presti's got something in the works again.
Yeah. Is there help that the Warriors could bring? You mentioned the Warriors. Like, Jay, do you think that there's an actual move there? Josh, do you think there's an actual move there where I think it's all sounds great, but like I think best case scenario, like they move Wiggins to like, I don't know, like Dallas for like just to get him out of the mix. And they, Kuminga's been so good since his haircut. That's
do they move Kuminga or do they have plans for Kuminga?
Yeah, I mean, maybe you have to move Kuminga with Wiggins to go get a bigger piece, or maybe they just jettison Wiggins like, hey, we are actually gonna give Steve Kerr no choice but to play these guys.
Because here's the thing is they've still got Steph in an incredible spot, right? He's still producing, he's still the great player that he is. So that title window in their eyes, it's still there, and they're trying to take advantage of it. So whatever move they do make, it has to be somebody that they think can help win them a title.
Yeah.
It's not just I don't think it's a role player. I think it's a star.
Do they have to decide that they need to chase a title though? Because I look at their situation and it's like, yes, you want to compete with Stephen Curry while he's at this level. Of course you do. But I also don't know if there's any real fix out there to get
that might be a summer thing and wait for someone to be disgruntled.
Exactly.
And they've been great when Draymond Green is on the court lately, which is a great sign for them when he's being that transformative figure for them, when he's making the game easier for everybody else. But they're in a weird spot right now. And Michael Dunleavy in his first year, like this is a really interesting spot to be in. Do you trade a piece that helped you win a title? Do you trade Kuminga, who has been fantastic lately, who is taking a leap? I don't know. There aren't any easy answers
Did you just call him Michael Dunleavy?
there. Yeah,
His government name.
Michael Dunleavy Jr.
Can the Lakers pull it off again? Right, they make moves last deadline, bring in D'Lo, bring in Rui, obviously bring in Mobamba.
Did they
Everyone
pull
talked
it
about
off
that.
last year? Did they?
I mean, look, they were a team that was really struggling. They turned things around to get.
They got to the Western Conference Finals.
Legally, they got to the Western Conference Finals. I don't count it. If you get swept, I don't count it as appearing in it. But yes, they were the other team in the Western Conference Finals. I don't think at the deadline anyone saw them making the conference finals. So like, can they do that again? And like, is that like if it's DeJounte Murray for D'Lo and a pick and I don't know, like Max Christie or something, they don't have to give up Austin Reeves. Is that enough?
They maybe. Well, I mean, I think what they need a 3-and-D wing, right? They've suffered some injury problems here. There's some pieces they could go after. You look at like Dorian Finney-Smith or Royce O'Neal. But are those answers? Are those guys who take this team to that level?
I mean, if they got Dorian Finney-Smith without giving up much, then yeah,
but,
like
that's another guy who the Nets are very hesitant.
Yeah,
to let go
as they should. I mean, he's good. Like he's a really good
player. For sure.
I'd be after guys like that. Bogdanovich, I would be after if I were them. Like just try to get someone who can defend a little bit, who has size and can shoot, and just make the game easier for LeBron and
AD. Before we get out of here, by the way, I don't think they can make a move that fixes anything. I just don't think this team's very good. Like, I think they are an average team.
Because LeBron is tweeting emojis. When LeBron is tweeting emojis, he's not happy.
I mean, that's true, and he will not clarify what that means.
He almost went off. Good thing they stopped him.
Good thing they stopped him. Hero work right there. All right, before we go, Josh, who's one player you want to see get traded and where?
I don't know if it's going to happen. I would love to see Malcolm Brogdon get sent to the Knicks. I would love to see that. I think the defensive system that they have built in New York, and I think that fits Brogdon perfectly. I think he's a great perimeter defender as well as a great option. We know he's good coming off the bench, being somebody that can come in, give Brunson a break, and not let the quality of the play drop.
Right.
He's proven that he can be a great point guard for them. He won't turn the ball over. He will guard. He can make shots. He's shooting I think it's 37% from three this year. I would love to see that. Do I think it's going to happen? I don't know. I think the Knicks have a legit shot at making waves and being a problem in the playoffs, especially looking at Philly being out of the mix. Another team out of their way. The Bucks obviously going through pains. Boston, and I know you want to say Miami, are in their way.
I don't think they
are in their way. I don't know if it's going to happen, but that's what I would love to see.
Jay, is there a player you want to see get traded and where?
I want Bruce Brown on the Knicks.
Okay, so we're just putting everybody on the Knicks.
The Knicks are thriving right now.
I was going to put on the Knicks. I'll change my answer. And
they also have Evan Fournier's contract.
Yeah, that's massive to be able to deal that.
They'll want to use to go out and add somebody else to this roster. So it's very feasible that they'll be looking to add. Bruce Brown went out and said, like, I'm a Tom Thibodeau guy. He clearly did not hide it, even to the press.
Not since Miles Turner asked to be traded to the Lakers on a podcast have we seen someone so brazenly try to get themselves somewhere.
That was fantastic. But I like that idea. And I would prefer if he had a little more size. He's sort of like Dante DiVincenzo-esque with the size. Josh Hart isn't like the biggest wing either, but they're all tough guys. I just would love to see another competitor, another championship level rotation guy in New York.
I think this one that I'm going to say might happen, but I would like to see Tyus Jones back on the Wolves.
What did they just turn down though? What did
Allegedly,
they got offered?
I heard that there was 4 second-round picks, and they are holding out for a first. But if no one's going to give a first, I kind of think it'll happen. You know, it's just
Maybe.
whether or not someone's going to pony up a first. I think he's worth a first personally. Like I think he's a starting point guard on a good team, or that level of player. He doesn't turn the ball over, which they have an issue with. He knocks down shots. They need more shooting. I don't care what their percentages look like. And assuming you re-sign him in the offseason, yes, they already have a massive contract situation to figure out, but he replaces Mike Conley, you know, who's 36, like after the season can be the starting point guard he wants to. I think that's a perfect fit for where they're headed. Is he going to get like Jalen Brunson money this summer? Will it be less than that? Will he get like Dylan Brooks money this summer? I don't know. That might be the thing that complicates it the most. But yeah, I want to see Tyus Jones back on the Wolves because I think they could use him now and as the point guard of the future.
They need another adult, like just someone to organize the offense when Conley isn't out there, because Conley is so important to that team.
Yeah,
like he means so much to what they're doing. And yeah, I'd be into that. I love that we could have traded anybody and we were like Malcolm Brogdon, Bruce Brown, and Tyus Jones.
Yeah, that's how boring the trade deadline might be. But
yes,
find out all week on the Athletic
Give
NBA
these dudes
show
a backup guard.
just how big of a yawn this deadline is going to be. Make sure you check out all the coverage on The Athletic. We also got you in the bounce, theathletic.com/bounce. And watch us talk. Watch Josh try not to laugh throughout whatever is being said in the chat. It's truly, you can't miss it. He's also a new dad. You know, well, our dad you're
Not
already
new
a dad. Yeah. I don't know. You got a kid. You got
Dad
2 kids.
squared.
Dad all over
Dad
again.
squared. He's an old dad now. Make sure you're following all Jay's coverage of the Celtics. Make sure you are following us on all social platforms and subscribing and doing all that stuff. For Josh, for Dave, for Schlecht, for Jay, I'm Zach. Keep it locked on the Athletic NBA Show podcast.